Make an exit plan. No one's saying to run away now. And no one's saying to run away, period. Anti-Semitism should not be the reason you come to Israel. You should come to Israel because this place is paradise. But anti-Semitism can be a catalyst and it could be a trigger. And that's what it should be. So I'm not saying to pick up today, but figure out what you need to do to get your ducks in a row so that when whatever that event is takes place, and when I say event, and I say when, not if, because it's all happened, that you're ready to get on a plane and come here. What you're saying is, I need to stay here and fight. This is my country. I don't want to run away. All that valid arguments, all legitimate. My question to you is, now in hindsight, with you knowing what unfolded in Europe, is that the advice you would give my grandmother? Stay and fight, or get the heck out of there as before it's too late? I understand that people like to say, it's 2025, it's not 1945 or 1940. I get that. Is there any event, that if that event takes place, you are going to say to yourself, I'm done. That's it. This is 1935 Germany all over again. I am out of here. Because your argument that we need to stay here strategically, again, at the risk of offending you, it's not working out too well for you. What influence do you have there? Look at the government. Look what's going on.
I think it's very, Hillel, it's very painful. I'll be honest with you. I'm in a lot of pain. This is a wake-up call for me too, Hillel. Is this where we're at? Are people actually scared of who they are? Is that what it's come down to?
I sat today in Tel Aviv in a cafe in Sarona with someone who just made Aliyah, and I said to him, and I say this to people literally on a daily basis, I say, look around. Are you in a war zone or are you in paradise? Okay, yes, we're in a war. Yes, there are rockets. I'm not dismissing those things or belittling them. I get it. But Israel's paradise, and any media publication or outlet that likes to depict Israel as this war zone where rockets are, raining down on, it's just false. It's dishonest. It's not the reality. The reality is Israel's paradise. We have challenges. We have regional challenges. There's no question about that. Listen to this. Shekol hadar be'eretz Yisrael. Anybody who lives in the land of Israel, domeh k'mi sheyesh lo, is like a person with a god. V'kol hadar b'chutz la'aretz, any Jew that lives outside of Israel, domeh ki'ilu oved avodah zara, is like a man worshiping idols. This is the Gemara.
There's a part of me that is very strongly aligned with what you're saying. And there's a part of me that is torn by where I live here today, what's practical for my family, and the fact that I don't want to run. I am Israel Ellis, and this is The Unfiltered View, a companion to the wake-up call. Please show your appreciation. Don't be shy. Show your appreciation by liking this podcast, sharing it, and following me on IsraelEllis.com and on Substack.
Allow me to read you, because one of the things that I hear all the time is, if my kid goes to Israel, he's going to be less religious because here he's in Borough Park and he's secluded and whatever. I hear that. You don't think I hear that? I hear it all the time. So allow me to read to you something, because there's so many misconceptions about living in Israel. This is only one of them amongst many, but a Gemara, a Talmud that states unequivocally, and there's no debate about this and no one disagrees with this statement. This is a standalone blanket statement that I'm going to read to you from the Talmud as soon as I find it. And it basically says that it is preferable, and this is, here you go. I'm going to read it to you in Hebrew and then I'll translate. Le'olam yadur adam. A person should always live be'eretz Yisrael, in the land of Israel, afilu be'ir sheru bagoyim, even in a city that is mostly Gentile. Ve'al yadur bechutz la'aretz, and a Jew should not live outside of Israel, be'ir sheru Yisrael, even if a mostly Jewish city. Listen to this. Shekol hadar be'eretz Yisrael. Anybody who lives in the land of Israel, domeh k'mi sheyesh lo, is like a person with a god. V'kol hadar bechutz la'aretz. Any Jew that lives outside of Israel, domeh ki'ilu oved avodah zara, is like a man worshiping idols. This is the Gemara. So according to the Gemara, you should live in Israel, completely abandon your Judaism. I'm obviously going to an extreme. Cover yourself in tattoos, get piercings, shave off your head and go eat pork in Israel, than live in America or in Canada and be an observant Jew. This is the Gemara. This isn't me saying it. This is the Gemara. Okay.
So Hillel, first of all, I know that. And I've read that myself. And there's a part of me, and I want to tell you, because you said we won't be friends. There's a part of me that is very strongly aligned with what you're saying. And there's a part of me that is torn by where I live here today, what's practical for my family, and the fact that I don't want to run. I want to fight. I want to stand my ground. And I don't believe that we're there yet, where I need to run in fear. I should run to Israel, and people should move to Israel. Ki ahavat Yisrael, because they love Israel. That's why they should move to Israel, not because Israel is a safe place to go to because they're running away from somewhere. I think we need to correct the problem. I'm also concerned about something else, Hillel. I'm also concerned about the need globally to have Jews living in other places outside of Israel, and that I don't think that strategically it's a great idea to concentrate all Jews in one land. God forbid the unthinkable happens. Okay, I know. I got you. Good. Give me the fire. Don't worry about it.
I can't help but hear the words that you're saying and replace the word Canada with Germany. Would you say that to my grandmother? Would you say to my grandmother, if you could, in hindsight, tell my grandmother in 1930, when she said, Germany is my country, I'm not leaving and running away.
So at the time of Nazi Germany in 1933, Israel did not exist. That's a major difference. And I think the fact that Israel exists is a major impediment to something like 1933. However, there is this subversive anti-Semitism that is happening, that is spreading, as I said, into the corners of our bureaucracy, of our corporations. Do you know that I cannot advertise my book on Amazon because it has to do with October 7th? Do you know that it's more likely that I will get arrested and convicted of a hate crime I've got to be very careful with what I say, but yet somebody who publishes a website called findidfsoldiers.net, where my son is listed, he's listed. They are hunting Jews, and yet that's okay. So I get what you're saying because I believe it, but I also believe that we live in a democracy and I'm not willing to give up on that. And I think that we need to hear our voices. So both of us have voices, Hillel. You have a voice, I have a voice. Your purpose of your voice, it sounds to me, you've got a couple of things going on here. One is you got to call out the hate, and I appreciate that worldwide. 2, supporting Israel. 3, to bring people to Israel. That is what I'm hearing from you, right? And I think you and I are very much aligned in the sense that we have found our voice, and I think that other people need to find our voice. Go ahead.
We addressed the issue of Israel from a religious perspective, and we can talk about that till we're blue in the face because there's a lot to be said. But just so you understand that according to most rabbinical sources and authorities, an observant Jew outside of Israel is practicing. They're not fulfilling the Torah. They're practicing to get ready to come to Israel. So, that's putting aside the religious perspective. It is a mitzvah. It is a commandment along with Shabbos and kosher. And I'm sorry to say it again, at the risk of, please forgive me what I'm about to say, but a Jew is not a complete Jew unless he lives in Israel. That's not me saying that. It's just a fact. So putting aside the religious thing, let me ask you a question. And again, I'm going to say it 100 times. I hope you remain friends after this. Let me ask you a question. What right, I'm not going to attack you, but what right do my friends have to live in Woodmere and in Teaneck and in Canada and in Montreal when we're fighting for our existence here in Israel? What right do you not have to come here to support us? So you, in your case, you sent your son. So you did incredible amount of.
I didn't send my son.
I'm saying your son is here.
I did not send my son. He's here. I'm very proud of him. He's a Chayel Mitzdayan. He is a soldier of excellence. He's received many awards. But I got to tell you something. I mean, maybe I raised my son, and maybe I did something right with my kids. But him being in Israel through great sacrifice, by the way, his name is Eitan Yoel. And he lives his name, literally lives his name every day. I don't want to take any credit for it, except for the fact that he, through his own tenacity, through his own belief and conviction, like you, okay, he, in every fiber of his body, believes that he has to be in Israel, he has to live in Israel. He does that on his own. And God bless him, and Hashem Yishmor to all of these kids who go to Israel and who do this because they are the backbone, they are the fiber of our Judaism, in my opinion, and in Israel. So don't get me wrong on that, and I want to make that clarity for you. What right do I have? What right do I have to support Israel or to be in Israel if I live here? I got to say, I didn't choose to live in Canada, of course. I mean, I was born in Canada, and I've done everything that I could, to be, Jewish and to enjoy my Judaism and to love my Judaism. And I tend to agree with you to some degree. And that was my son's question to me. What right do I have to exist in Canada as a Jew when I've got to go to Israel and fight, and where I should be part of the defense of Israel? And this is my son, his neshama. He didn't need to be taught this. It's inside his neshama, inside his soul, that he received this knowingness that he had to be in Israel. I don't know. I'm not offended by that, Hillel. I'm not offended by a question like that.
No, listen, at the end of the day, again, like many of the things you're saying are logical, but I just, that question that I asked you before, I'm going to ask you again. What you're saying is I need to stay here and fight. This is my country. I don't want to run away. All that valid arguments, all legitimate. My question to you is, now in hindsight, with you knowing what unfolded in Europe, is that the advice you would give my grandmother? Stay and fight, or get the heck out of there as before it's too late? And so my question to you is, I understand that people like to say, it's 2025, it's not 1945 or 1940. I get that. My question to you is a simple question. Is there any event that if that event takes place, you are going to say to yourself, I'm done. That's it. This is 1935 Germany all over again. I am out of here. Because your argument that we need to stay here strategically, again, at the risk of offending you, it's not working out too well for you. What influence do you have there? Look at the government. Look what's going on.
I think it's very, Hillel, it's very painful. I'll be honest with you. I'm in a lot of pain.
Rightfully so.
What event could happen? It's a very good question. Where is the metrics? We don't have KPIs. We don't have the KPIs. I can tell you that that I would recommend and advise anyone listening to this show to take into account what I'm saying, and definitely take into account what Hillel is saying, and prepare yourselves. And that's a horrible thing. I can't believe I'm saying this. Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying it, Hillel, that I'm even having this discussion with my wife, that I'm even considering it. But I have personally taken the business action to liquidate as much as I could, to change my investment portfolios, my direction. I've invested in other places in the world now. I am looking to buy real estate in Israel. I am looking to build something there. It's just a matter of time. I'm hoping, please God, that it happens this year, that I'm introduced to a neighborhood and what have you that I can live with. And I am thinking about it, and I would recommend, and I think that all Jews are thinking about it. But I also think that our voice needs to be said. I think that we can't run. I don't want to feel like I'm running. And I think that there is a fight to be had, and there is a front. And that front is right here in Canada right now. And I believe that there has to be a way to get to people, that we need to break the silence, and we need to have our voices heard, because Canada is supposed to be an ally of Israel, as the United States is. And whether you like it or not, Hillel, we depend greatly on our allies in terms of our existence. We're surrounded by enemies. We're surrounded. The numbers are dazzling in terms of the disproportionate reality of the fact that Israel makes up a fraction of land and a fraction of the people. We are dependent, whether you like it or not, on our allyship. And every leader knows that if you want to ensure sort of good diplomacy and allyship, you need to place people inside of those areas. People do need, I believe that we do need Jews living in the diaspora. I think it's great to have that exit strategy, and thank God, Baruch Hashem, today we have Israel, and that connection can be easier, although try to get a flight to Israel, and that's a whole other story. So it might be swimming there eventually. And there's a lot of things that puts us in that precarious situation. But I do believe, Hillel, that we need our voices in America and in Canada. And I believe that this is that while there is a danger of subversive anti-Semitism that is in our bureaucracy, that is our public corporations, I would like to believe at this point it can shift. You asked me a very good question. At what point will I leave? I think that the answer to that question is going to be too late. I think that if I, God forbid, have to answer that question, Hillel, I think for many of us, we'll only be able to answer that question in the rearview mirror. So I think it's an unfair question. I think it's a very difficult question, because I can tell you anything that I want to tell you. But for me to pick up my family and to leave and to say, I know, and I've had interviews with many people, and we've talked about this concept, and I've talked about it. But regardless, I'm going to tell you, I don't know the answer I'm going to give you right now is I don't know the answer to that question. But I will tell you that I will walk with my keep on my head. I will wear my Magen David proudly. I will wear my Golani necklace proudly because that's my son's unit, his where he grew up. I will wear my hostage pin proudly. I'll also wear my love on my label, on my lapel. I wear my love on my lapel. I will do my best to make sure that the words never forget are not just mere words forgotten in the annals of our history. I will do what I can to advocate politically, and I will lobby, and I will encourage, though demoralizing our political process is, I will encourage people to get involved in our political process and to try to change the narrative. We have to, but at the same time, I think we have to have one foot in Israel. I think that is true.
I'll tell you one piece of good news. There's precedent. You're not the first Jew in history to say what you're saying. In fact, in Egypt, after 210 years of slavery, when God came and performed the 10 plagues, as you may or may not know, I'm sure many of your viewers don't know, 80% of the Israelites stayed back. You know why? Because they said, we need presence in Egypt. We need diplomacy. We need to make sure that the most powerful empire in the world doesn't hate us, God forbid. And so they stayed back and they perished. And so I love you. I respect you. I can't wait to buy you a shawarma, but you are deeply, I don't want to, God forbid, I don't want to use the word indoctrinated, but you are biased. You are deep in the lifestyle there. And I want to say this as clearly as possible. I'm a big talker. I came here when I was 15. I didn't make any sacrifices. I didn't pick up and leave and, forget a whole life that I built. So you can take what I say with a grain of salt, but I'm telling you, as someone who's looking at you from the side and hearing the things that you're saying, this is, confirmation bias, what I'm saying right now. The thought of picking up and leaving scares you, rightfully so. And so you're now finding justifications to say, no, we need to stay here for diplomacy. It's not easy to live in Israel. You can't make a living in Israel. I have no way to live in Israel. All of things that need to be addressed. But figure out what's the cause and what's the effect here. And to me, it seems, and I'm not talking about you personally. I hear this every hour of every day from all my friends. I can't leave, and they have the whole list of things. Some of them, by the way, I want to be very clear. Some of them are very legitimate. I have elderly parents, all great. But what you said one thing that I think is the takeaway from this entire episode, which is make an exit plan. Make an exit plan. No one's saying to run away now. And no one's saying to run away, period. Anti-Semitism should not be the reason you come to Israel. You should come to Israel because this place is paradise. But anti-Semitism can be a catalyst and it can be a trigger. And that's what it should be. So I'm not saying to pick up today, but figure out what you need to do to get your ducks in a row so that when whatever that event is takes place, and when I say event, and I say when, not if, because it's all happened, that you're ready to get on a plane and come here. But and you sound like you are, but the people that I speak to that say, Israel, I'm comfortable here in America. I'm comfortable. It doesn't affect me. That boggles my brain. I can't.
Or people come up to me when I speak sometimes. People come up to me and say, is it safe there? Or I say, go to Israel. I said, I just got off the plane last week from Israel. I just came in and I came from the airport to an event in Hamilton, Ontario, spoke at the Jewish Federation. Beautiful, beautiful community over there. It was a big showing. And I said, I have a message for you. And I have to say this because I have to counter the Meraglim reference. I said, I have a message for you. Israel is open for business. It's safe. It's beautiful. It's a village. It's incredible to walk along the Tayelet and to feel the love of your community. Your family awaits you. Come to Israel. And what I get from a lot of people is real, genuine fear. Drives my wife crazy when she listens to these conversations. But, a woman came up to us, and it's in my book, The Wake Up Call, and it was one of the impetus for me writing the book. And she leans into my wife in this, where we have a home up in the mountains in a place called Blue Mountains, Ontario, not about 2 hours north of Toronto. And she leans into my wife. She sees us in the street, and she says, Shalom. And my wife is like, what are you whispering for? And she says, because I'm you. I'm one of you. And my wife is like incredulous. It's like in small town Ontario, this woman is approaching us and she's like scared. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, is this where we are at? I mean, this is a wake-up call for me too, Hillel, right? I'm like, is this where we're at? Are people actually scared of who they are? Is that what it's come down to?
I sat today in Tel Aviv in a cafe in Sarona with someone who just made Aliyah. And I said to him, and I say this to people literally on a daily basis, I say, look around. Are you in a war zone or are you in paradise? Okay, yes, we're in a war. Yes, there are rockets. I'm not dismissing those things or belittling them. I get it. But Israel's paradise. And any media publication or outlet that likes to depict Israel as this, war zone where rockets are, raining down on, it's just false. It's dishonest. It's not the reality. The reality is Israel's paradise. We have challenges. We have regional challenges. There's no question about that. But anybody, and I mean anybody.
It's complex. It's complicated to be a Jew. It's complicated to have a high moral standard. And being Jewish has so many different layers. And it is complicated. My late father passed away this year. He used to say that Israel is like Heinz 52 or 57. I forget what the words. Anyways, his point was that there's so many layers of Judaism and the complexity of different views, and we're all very strong-minded. By the way, Hillel, I very much appreciate you debating with me a little bit, or I take no offense whatsoever. I'm only here to learn. I think you're doing incredible work out there. I watch your things. My wife is a big fan. My kids are big fans. They've got you on there, following you on different platforms. My admiration to you and my tremendous respect, kol hakavod, because what you're doing is Kiddush Hashem. You're spreading a word and you're spreading a very positive message. And your message isn't about hate. And that's the difference between us and the death cult. Your message is about love. It's about life. It's about living. It's about light. And I've heard you speak as well, and you're a tremendous speaker. You're a tremendous orator. Thank you for your courage. I really appreciate it. I did promise you that we would try to do this within an hour. You see how difficult it is? It's not easy. It's not easy. I've been trying to do it. And I kibitz. I like to kibitz. I like to talk, but I like to also try to get something meaningful out there. And, my first book, I wrote a book 5 years ago, Moving Through Walls, and I said that this effort, this effort of writing a book, if I but can change the mind, if I can change one person's life, if I can save a life, and I think that's the words, if I can save a life, I've saved the world.
That's right.
And you, Hillel, I've heard you refer this in different ways as well. If someone hears you and it changes their idea and makes them a lover of life instead of a lover of death or a hater, and you can change their mind, then you have saved the world. And I think, sir, you've saved the world over a number of times. But let's get to the end. I want to finish this podcast on a really positive note. And I'd like to ask you a question. It doesn't have to be positive, but it's up to you. If you have, I like to ask people when we end our podcast, if you had one message for the world, if you had one thing that you wanted to say, if somehow this got broadcast and everyone on every big screen would see Hillel Fuld have something to say, what is it that you would say, Hillel?
We will dance again.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Am Yisrael Chai, my friend.
I'm Yisrael Chai. We got to get there. Hillel, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your unwavering commitment to the truth and your commitment to what you believe in, because that's really important in anything that we do. We've got to believe, we have to have emunah, we have to have faith, and it's that faith that drives our knowingness when we fulfill a purpose of positive, true light, love, of forgiveness, of everything that's positive. When we continue to shed light on the world, they will eventually notice. I loved what you said there. That was very powerful. And it's something to keep in mind, even in our despair. Keep on doing the right thing. Keep on being the moral people that we are. And they will take notice and they'll realize their faults. and hopefully they'll come to our aid and continue in our aid. Hillel Fuld, if people want to get to know you better, where can they go? Or if they want to get in touch with you, where would you like them to go?
Your social media channel of choice. Surprise me.
Okay, so it's Hillel, F-U-L-D. Just look him up. Just put it into Google search engines. You'll find him. He'll get back to you. Thank you again very much for another great episode of The Unfiltered View. My name is Israel Ellis, and this is The Unfiltered View, a companion to the wake-up call. This is where truth breaks through the noise. Please show your appreciation for this podcast by liking it, sharing it, commenting on it, and follow me on IsraelEllis.com and on Substack. I thank you for tuning in when you had the choice to tune out.